Hello everyone, Vampora here. Today I have with me Troels, syndereN Nielsen, a DotA 2 player from Denmark. Not only a player, but also a caster, as you may already know. So let's get right to it. Hello Troels, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Just played a match not too long ago and we won, so I'm in a good mood.
That's good to hear. Okay, so we had a very small introduction about you, but could you tell me a bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I am. How old am I now? I'm 27, I think. It's like years start mattering less and less the older you get, you know. I'm 27. Yeah, I'm 27. Yeah, I'm from Denmark. I've played Dota for many, many, many years. Like you said, I've also commentated it quite a bit. Apart from Dota, I like spending time with my girlfriend. I like sports in general, both esports and other sports, just watching, and the spirit of competition is something I've always really liked. I love hanging out with people. That's why, like, when I go to events, it's a really big part of the experience for me to be social with other teams or with the talent that's there or whatnot, and just have a good time talking to
Mhm.
people and spending time together. I guess my favorite thing to do apart from Dota would be to, I guess I really like playing pool and playing table
Really?
tennis and going out for
Oh,
drinks. I guess those are my favorite things to do.
great. I like table tennis as well. Uh, okay, so does your nickname have any special meaning or significance? How did you come up with it?
It has a history. It's a bit complicated. I'll just make it short. It's basically, I played a Counter-Strike game a long time ago, and one of my teammates in the game had a good performance but didn't win the round. And then I wanted to say, that's a shame, you know? And then I was like, two Danish words I just combined in my mind, and then it became this. Like, there was two different words I would use to explain that situation. I was like, oh, when I put them together, it makes this other Danish word. And then I just took that. I've had it for a long time. The nickname means the sinner, which has some, maybe some connotations that I mean, I don't really mind too much. But people make fun of it sometimes, I guess, especially Danes. It's like I've thought about changing it, but it's a part of my career now, and I'm not really interested in changing my name. So that's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you have played Counter-Strike and you enjoy watching other esport titles, but have you played any other games competitively before or just started with Dota 1?
Yeah, not really. I started with Dota 1 I started playing competitively, I think 2008. I'm pretty sure was my first game. It was late 2007 or 2008, I think, that I played my first game. No, that was the first game I played competitively. I've only really been competitive in Dota 1 and Dota 2. But I've played other games, and when I play games, I generally, I'm a competitive person. That doesn't mean I haven't like been competing for prizes in other games, but if I play other games, I try to learn and get better and try to win. And a big part of the experience for me in playing games and doing stuff in general is a feeling of progression.
Hmm.
It's like I'm a sucker for achievement systems in games. I love like feeling like I'm progressing and getting better or unlocking something. That's always been a
Yeah.
big part of games for me.
All right. But you enjoy watching. So what other
Mhm.
titles do you watch? League of Legends, Counter-Strike, or what, Hearthstone? I don't know.
I actually watch quite a lot of different things. I think it kind of depends what's on in the moment. Like if sometimes I just randomly like, okay, I want to watch something, and then I see if there's a tournament on. I guess
Oh.
my favorite other game to watch most of the time would be CS:GO, I
Mm-hmm.
think. But I've also watched other games like StarCraft. Occasionally, I've watched if there's a big tournament in League of Legends. I've watched to see how it's going, or if I'm curious. Like right now, for example, NIP picked up a team. If,
Mm-hmm.
like very recently, I think it was their first official match today. So I just wanted to check out. Like, it's interesting
Yeah.
just as a fan of esports in general. Unfortunately, when it comes to the game, I'm not that big a fan of League, so I don't really watch it very much because I think the gameplay itself isn't that interesting. But in a lot of other games, I really enjoy watching the gameplay. And yeah, I'm not that connected with the teams as such, but I just try to watch good games that have value. So mainly the big tournaments, and for example, CS is what I would watch.
I understand. I do exactly the same thing. All right. Understood. Apart from being a player, we also said that you have worked as a caster, commentator. So how did this opportunity arise, and how was the experience? And also, are you looking forward to maybe do this permanently in the future?
Well, the way it started was back in Dota 1 when casting was pretty small. to be honest. There was a caster back then called Mad Mordigan. I think most Dota was cast by Mad Mordigan and Toby1 at the time. I think Luminous was doing more replay casts than live casts, but it's a long time ago. But those are the names that stand out to me. I talked to Mad Mordigan. I was like, do you think this could be interesting? I liked his casting. He was funny to watch and listen to, and said maybe I can add something to your broadcast because I'm a competitive player, so I can give some more detail and stuff. And he was like, sure, let's try it. And people really liked it. So that was kind of the start for me, and then I just cast a bit here and there and started casting with Toby sometimes, and ultimately when Dota 2 came out and we started getting bigger and more tournaments there, I got some opportunities once in a while to commentate. And when I stopped playing in 2013 for about 2 years before I came back again, I had like almost 2 full years where I was mainly commentating and streaming, so I was casting a lot. I really enjoyed that. I didn't start playing again because I was like, casting sucks. I was just in the fortunate situation that I like both. And I have the competitive drive, like I talked about earlier, so I really want to compete. So that's what kind of brought me back to playing and wanting to play again. Just needed the right opportunity to get back.
Would you consider doing this permanently, like when you retire from a player or something?
Maybe. I don't know. It's in Dota 2, I think in esports in general, it's a bit hard to say what happens in a couple of years. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Maybe there's a new game. Maybe Dota 2 has a lifespan, at which point it falls a bit apart. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it based on Dota 1, but we never know what's going to happen in our industry. So I keep my options open. It could be something for me. Maybe something like coaching, casting, streaming in general, maybe playing another game if Dota 2 doesn't continue. But as long as Dota 2 is like this, I'm down.
Great to hear. So a few days ago you announced Team Crescendo, a lineup that consists of EGM, Akke, Baby Knight, Xcalibur and yourself. A really solid roster. How did this project come together, and what are your plans for the future?
Well, I mainly started out talking to Akke in the beginning, and we were like interested in making a team together. Then we were talking about what options there were. We quickly got Xcalibur. They played together in Horde, and Akke had good things to say about him, so we built from there. And then it took some time. We were like waiting to see how other rosters would move and whatnot, and then eventually we ended up getting both Baby Knight and EGM. EGM was kind of a last-minute thing because Alliance replaced him. We had some other plans as well that we were trying out, but ended up with EGM, and I'm very happy that we got the opportunity to get him. I think he's a very good fit for our team. So I'm happy with the roster. Our plans are, primary goal is TI. We'll see how to get there, if we need to play like open qualifiers or regional qualifiers or whatnot. But that's the primary goal. Apart from that, just play to win every game. That's kind of it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. It's a really interesting roster. I really look forward to see you guys play. So let's say that you are in charge of making some changes in Dota 2. What would you change?
Remove techies.
Oh, why?
I don't think the hero belongs in Dota. I've been pretty passionate about this for a long time. It's funny because back many years ago in Dota 1, it was my favorite hero. Like when I was a really beginner, it's like this is a funny hero to mess around on. But the more competitive I get, the less I like the hero, because I feel like the design of it and the way it impacts games is not enjoyable to play against. It's not really enjoyable to play with, and it's also not that interesting to watch, in my opinion. It's actually the hardest game I've ever cast. I keep referring to a game I cast at ESL 1 with Toby. We were casting a game with Secret versus Fnatic, I think it was, and Secret had techies, and they got ahead in the laning stage. And it was really difficult to cast that game from an expert perspective, because literally everything I could see was, well, one team has mines and has full map control, and the other one doesn't, and they can't really get out because they're scared of mines. That was how it boiled down for like 20, 30 minutes. I don't think it's that interesting. I'm happy it's not in captain's mode.
That's the point.
But I love to hate techies. So
balance-wise, would you change anything?
Apart from that hero?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a couple of things. It's a bit hard to say because I think right now there's a couple of concepts that seem really powerful. Like IO and Treant right now are extremely strong. They could use some tweaks maybe. But a lot of the times things shift just with meta changes or other heroes getting buffed. The patch is still fairly new, so I don't have 100% of a read on it, but we'll see. And it's in a pretty good place right now overall, I think.
All right. So what's your favorite hero in the game now, since it's not techies?
I don't really have one favorite hero. I just like playing. I like playing initiators and strength heroes that have stuns and want to fight. I guess the one exception to that would be something like Darkseer, which I also like. Just team fight heroes that want to group up and fight and combine spells with your allies. That's what I like. So Clockwork is a good example. Sand King, Night Stalker is one of my all-time favorites. Fighting style suits me pretty well.
All right. Is there a hero that you would like to play more, but because of the meta or your specific position, you're not able to?
That's a good question. I don't know, actually. I kind of really like the way my lane works right now, like what heroes are good. I had a couple of heroes that I really enjoyed playing as support, so I wouldn't mind. A hero like Keeper of the Light, I'm a big fan of. I thought that was really fun to play as support. So maybe, like, since he's the one that comes up off the top of my mind, then I guess Coddle. Pretty hard to play off lane overall. Big fan of that. So let's say Coddle.
All right, I'll keep that. Okay, so what are your goals for this year? You told us about the team. Obviously, you just will try to win everything. But what are your goals as an individual as well?
So yeah, like you said, the team is pretty covered, but individually for me, my biggest goal of the year is to be the most improved player, actually, because I think looking back, especially, I came back from a long break and I went out on kind of a low note, but I've learned a lot about myself, about the game, and about how to be a captain and how to think about Dota. It's so much about learning and experience that I've gained from both casting and playing, to be honest. I think I'm in a good spot right now where I feel a lot more confident in my ability and learning about the game and understanding it better. So already since I came back, and especially in this year, I feel like I've improved a lot, and I'll keep that going. And then my goal is, like I said, the most improved player of the year. Toward the end of the year, the goal is to be like really comfortable and really a strong player in my role. And so far, so good. That's right. It's interesting that you bring it up, because I've set those two goals for myself. Like the one thing is make TI, and the other one is most improved player. So, great. Yeah, I'll keep working on it.
Great. Okay, so do you have any advice or thoughts you'd like to share with your fans or other aspiring players or casters, commentators that want to be like you?
You need to love it. I think that's the first thing. I understand there's probably a lot of people that are like, oh, I would like to be a caster or a player because the events look so cool and it would be nice to be there. That's one thing. But if you actually want to compete, you need to have that drive. You need to have that desire to get really good and compete, and you need to want to put in the work. The passion really is the key word. I know it sounds cheesy and people bring it up all the time, but that really is what it is. Like, if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to be able to compete with the people that have it. Even if you're a talented player, if you're not in the right mindset of being willing to improve and having a good work ethic, you'll be beaten by maybe players that are less talented than you but are just willing to work. It's a combination of both. You can't just if you're like a 3K player right now and you're like, I want to be a pro, I'm going to play 12 hours a day for the next 4 years, maybe you'll never make it. There's a good chance you won't, because it's a pretty rough and very competitive environment that we have. So it's hard. When it comes to casting, I would say it's kind of something similar. You obviously don't need the same mechanical skill in the game, but you need to have a good voice. You need to have the desire to get better. You need to be self-critical. It's something I always preach, both as a player, as a caster. And you need to always hold yourself up to a higher standard. Like, you want to be better. You want to be sharper on everything you do, whether you're an expert caster or a play-by-play caster. The desire to get better and the will to work for it, and just take constructive criticism from others as well. There's a lot of people you can listen to that will have maybe some things they say aren't accurate, some things they say might be really accurate, and some of them you're maybe like, it kind of sucks, but they're probably right. I need to be able to filter that to get better.
All right. Okay, so I think it's time to proceed to the serious part of this interview. You're making a sandwich, so I want you to choose your favorite ingredients. Go.
Off the top of my head, BLT is really good. So bacon, lettuce, tomato. That's always been a classic. Actually, no. You know what? The best one is smoked salmon with cream cheese. Good. Smoked salmon with cream cheese. Definitely. Hands down my choice. I don't even need to think about it anymore.
Oh my God, that sounds delicious.
That's really good.
All right. Any drink to go with?
Amaretto sour.
Okay, I'll take
Yep.
that.
A weird combination, but that's my favorite drink. So,
All right. Okay. So let's say you can spend a day with any person on the planet. Any person. Who's your pick?
uh, I don't know, honestly. I don't really have. I guess the closest I am to, like, I don't consider myself a big fan of anyone, and that's not supposed to be understood in an arrogant way. There's people that I think are really interesting to watch and that are nice, but I don't have like this like big fandom of having posters of someone or stuff like that. Like I like a lot of there's a lot of musicians that I think are really good. For example, I guess the closest of all time I would be to be a fan, like a true hard fan of someone, would probably be Roger Federer in tennis. So he seems like a really nice guy and a cool guy. So I guess if I had the choice again, just intuitively or off the top of my head, that would probably be my choice. See what he's like. Seems like a nice guy, so he probably is, you know.
Probably. All right. Okay, so you play tennis?
I used to play a lot when I was younger. I haven't really played tennis for many years. Gradually, so our club was actually pretty good, but then when we hit our later teen years, then some people started focusing more on other sports like handball or football, and that kind of split our division of the club up. And then I lost interest, and I was playing a lot of badminton instead with some of my friends. So that's what I've been playing more in the later years. Yeah.
So you're into these games, badminton, tennis, you told table tennis before, so you do like those? Okay.
Yeah, I love racket games. I'm not a physical contact sports kind of guy. I guess I would be good at basketball. I'm pretty tall, but I don't really. I like the racket sports and mind sports in general that are more about strategy. For example, chess is a game that I really like. Don't really play it too much, but I'm a big fan of those kind of games as well. Board games.
Okay, so you're a castaway on a remote, isolated island. You have to choose one DotA personality to help you survive. Who would it be?
So I guess what people want to hear is Admiral Bulldog. But I don't think that would be that good of a choice. Okay, so the strict goal is survival. It's not about like getting along with well or something. Like we just want to survive, right? Okay. Who is like a jack of all trades kind of guy who would be good in nature? I don't know if there's any Dota guy who's a scout or something. I'm guessing, as far as combat, I think someone like Fly would be a pretty strong guy to have. He's obviously knows martial arts, so that would probably be helpful. I don't know. It depends what's on the island. I'll go with Fly. I don't know. It's a pretty difficult question.
No, I would say Toby for you. No?
Okay. Do you think he has survival skills? I don't know, man. I don't think Toby is the kind of guy who would save you on an island. He would be pretty far down my list, actually. I don't think he's a good pick.
All right. Okay, I think we can wrap it up. Do you have any final shout-outs?
Well, mainly well, I guess our fans is a bit of a stretch right now. It's a new team, but I hope there's some people that are cheering for our team at least as we build up. Seems like there's some people that are at least. So thanks for supporting the team, supporting me over the years, obviously. And shout out to my girlfriend for being supportive as always, and my friends in the north that I hope I get to see a bit more in the near future, but I'm pretty busy. So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's it. Thank you.
I do hope you meet them as well. I wish all the best for you. Go to the TI. Win it
Thank
all.
you.
Okay, I do believe in you. Just by looking at the names, it's a very solid roster. So I do believe you guys do great. I hope to see you on the TI. Alright, so you can all follow syndereN. You can see his tag right under his name. That way, I don't remember what way. In some way, okay. Also, you will see my subscribe button appear somewhere in the screen right now. Please do subscribe if you enjoy those interviews. So, Troels, thank you once again for having this interview with me.
Welcome.
Thank you everyone for watching. Till the next time, goodbye.